Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. I am super elated that you are here with us on tonight. I am Chelselia Cookie Payne, founder of Pain and Glory Incorporated and the administrator of this particular initiative, Pain in the Pews Mental Health and Ministry, where our goal is to bridge the gap between the mental health and faith communities. Listen, tonight we are continuing to honor Domestic Violence Awareness Month. As you can see, I guess it would have been easy if I went that way. There we go. We're continuing to honor Domestic Violence Awareness Month. As you may already know, or maybe if you didn't know, October is Domestic Violence, excuse me, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the whole month of October is dedicated to honoring those who were victims, those who are victims, those who are caregivers, those who are loved ones, those who are in need of coming out, those who have come out. For those of you who may not know, maybe this is your first time being with us on Pain and Glory. Pain and Glory was started in 2005 on the platform of domestic violence awareness and prevention. And listen, it is because I myself was a domestic violence survivor. I choose now to call myself an overcomer at this point in my journey. And at the time when I started Pain and Glory, at that time, I felt and knew and understood that I could not be the only one that was still that was that was like me. And here's what I mean by like me. I was no longer in the situation. I was no longer with the individual. However, in my mind, I was still there. And so I started Pain and Glory on the platform of providing hope and healing, resources and information and support for persons who were like me. And so tonight, listen, I am honored to have such a jewel. And I'm not just saying this because we're on live. I have actually told her this. I think she is such a jewel of a human being. We met, goodness, I was looking through some old pictures a couple of weeks ago. I think we met about 5 years ago, I think.
Hmm.
And listen, it has been just a beautiful journey alongside this young lady. So I am enthralled to have with us our sister, Harralyn Swinger Rawls. Thank you, Harrelyn, for being here.
Thank you, darling. I'm
Listen,
excited to be here with you
yes,
tonight, as
yes,
always.
as always. As always, listen, those of you who are joining in, I want you to go ahead and share, tag someone. And listen, even if you don't think that they are in a domestic violence situation, tag a friend. That
Hmm.
little inkling that you have, that little I wonder if I think I'm not sure. You know
Yes.
what? It doesn't hurt to share. It doesn't hurt
Right.
to share. It's better. I often hear this, and I've said it myself. I'd rather be wrong and miss it
Right.
than right and miss it.
Hmm.
So let's just so go
That's
ahead and
right.
hit that share button, because we're going to be talking about there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you
Yes.
see us on your screen, if you're watching us, whether you're watching us live or you're watching a replay, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching us on, if ever there was a testament to those words being true by the two women that you see on your screen that there's light at the end of the tunnel,
Hmm.
we're proof. If you wanted to
Yes.
have proof, if you wanted to have something that backs up what we're saying,
Hmm.
you're looking at living proof.
Yes. Yes.
So Harrelyn, with that being said, I want you to go ahead and get started and just kind of just start where you want to start, because we're talking about domestic violence awareness and prevention. And as I said, people may have heard my story, but I want people to I want those who are followers of Pain and Glory, those who are followers of Harrelyn that may not have heard the full story. I want you to kind of walk us through whatever door you want to lead us through in this journey called domestic abuse awareness.
Well, my name, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Harralyn Rawls. I am a national and a local victims advocate. I am a legislative advocate. I am an evangelist. Uh, I do a lot of stuff. I work in the community. I do a little bit of everything. I currently sit on the board with CJCC, um, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for the Human Trafficking, and I also work with, I sit on the advisory board for Marcy's Law for Georgia. And I am excited to be here. Where I will start at is saying that there is definitely healing that is possible after domestic violence.
Yeah.
My just a little bit of my story. Over 10 years span, I had multiple abusers. I was an abuser magnet. It was like
Wow.
I would leave one thinking I got a relationship, and I would literally be in the same relationship with just a different person.
Wow.
It was like the same relationship, just a different person. It was like I exchanged one baggage for more baggage.
Wow.
And it got worse and worse every time. It was almost like you're in a hot room. You put on a jacket. And you steady putting on jackets. You know you hot. You steady loading yourself down.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are so exhausted. You're tired. You're hot. You're heavy. You have nowhere else to go, but you keep adding to the problem. You keep
Wow.
on putting layers of stuff on top of the problem. You never resolve the problem that you're hot.
Wow.
The way to resolve the problem you're hot, take the layers off. And I stayed in the situations. It was almost like it was a mindset. And it was like I was when I say abuser magnet, I was literally like an abuser magnet. Everybody I got with, it was some form, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, financial, it was all the same guy, just in a different body.
Wow.
And so I had over 10 abusers. I left for dead twice, and my self-esteem was shot. Um, Anybody who, I tell people, God made a woman really strong. A man has to really bring her down to really abuse her. Now understand, it's a mind thing. They go play with the mind first.
Right.
An abuser never starts with physical. They play with the mind. And I tell people, a lot of people say, well, I only had one bout of abuse. You may have had one bout of physical abuse, but most of them only abuse you when you get ready to walk out the door. There was a reason you get ready to walk out the door.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize that the emotional abuse it took. I mean, he pulled me from my family. They would pull you from your family. It was about money. They would hold money. They would withhold other stuff. They would force you into sex. They would do all kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
And it's all part of domestic abuse.
Absolutely.
I didn't know I was a victim. But then here I go to the courthouse with the worst abuser of all of them and get on stand, and what did I do? I retracted my whole entire statement.
Wow.
I
And in
retracted
that instance, let me ask you this, Harralyn. In that instance, when you're walking into the courthouse, I'm sure your heart is beating a million miles a minute. I'm sure your mind is spinning like a top. And then you get there and you see the person, and I can only imagine
yeah.
that the thoughts that are coming and the thoughts that are in your mind and what you're feeling in your body are not matching.
They're not.
They're not matching. They're not matching.
I
And
went in, oh, I got this. He
yeah,
gone, I'm riled up. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stand up for mine. I'm tough because I'm tired. You are right until you get on stand and see his face. And at that moment, all the strength I had went down the toilet because he knew how to intimidate me without words.
that's where I was headed. That's where I was headed. The power we spoke about this on last week, The power of manipulation is something. The power of intimidation, and many people say that, oh, she just was just so in love. No, I beg to differ. The power of manipulation and intimidation is
Mm-hmm.
such a stronghold. And so, like,
Yeah.
the picture that you were painting, I could see it as if I'm in the courtroom.
Right.
It's it, you like you said, you going in there. Enough is enough. The song when a woman was
Mm-hmm.
fed up.
Right.
You were ready. You were fed up, and then you get there, and then the little girl, the young lady, the person that's in you that was intimidated by the monster that was in that person,
That's right.
and then
Yeah.
you retracted. So were,
And
were were family members with you? Were you there by
oh yeah.
yourself?
Well, I
Oh,
was
oh,
there. My mom was there, and um, one of the ladies from my church, actually my current husband's aunt, my mom and her, they were the one, and my husband's grandmother, my
okay,
current husband's grandmother.
okay.
Those three were there, and a friend of mine. And when I got on the stand, sitting in the courtroom, I'm behind him. So I could just only see the back of him. Because when he came in the courtroom, actually, I was looking down doing paperwork. So I never actually saw him walk in the courtroom. But when I got on the
So
stand and looked at him, the look he gave me
so
was the
wait,
same
wait,
look.
wait 1 second. I want to make sure that I understand. When you came in, you said he was behind you.
No, so when I came in, when he came in, I was already seated.
Okay,
When he came in, I was doing the paperwork. You got to fill out. They have you fill out paperwork. So I was
okay,
filling. So my head was down. So I
okay,
never saw him actually physically walking into the courtroom. So we
okay,
never made that eye contact.
okay.
The first eye contact was I was on the stand.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So
Understood,
the
understood.
the prosecutor had talked to me since he'd been in the courtroom. And how you feeling? I'm good. I'm ready. I'm tired. You ain't gonna keep on doing this to me. This and that, blah blah.
Right.
And I remember my mother saying, "It's gonna be okay. Don't give in." And I remember
Wow,
his
wow,
aunt, the two that was with me, both saying, "When you get on the stand, don't give in." And I remember his grandmother
wow,
specifically telling them, "I don't think it's a good idea to put her on the stand."
wow.
Because they came out the courtroom with me to talk to the prosecutor. And I went back in there, and they were determined to get me on the stand. The defense attorney was determined, and I believe the defense attorney did that. Because later on, I found out that he knew the defense attorney. This was years afterwards.
Wow.
This years afterwards. I mean, years, like 10 years
Wow.
afterwards, I knew, and only by a conversation with someone. And that's like he was married to his cousin. I'm like, what? Anyway, I don't know if they knew each other then at
Okay.
the time.
Okay.
But the defense attorney's job is to defend them. It is not for you. They're not there for you. The
That's
defense
true.
attorney is
That's
there
true.
to defend the criminal.
Right.
And he wasn't mean to me or nasty. He wasn't manipulative. The defense attorney was not. Actually, the defense attorney got angry while we were in court because he came to me and he was like, "Did you just retract your statement?" And I'm like, but he was determined to put me on the stand. He said 3 times to put me on the stand. Because the prosecutor was like, well, if you're not comfortable, we're not gonna do it. But the judge went ahead and let it happen. And when I looked at him, he's the type of person that if he's nervous, his nose bleeds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Anytime he's nervous, literally, I mean, from nowhere. And when I looked at him, he gave me a look and his nose started bleeding.
Oh, wow.
I instantly felt bad for him.
Wow.
So they dropped the charges.
Wow.
I went back to the house and packed my clothes and moved back to my mom's house. Me and him got back together. We moved into another house. Within a month of us being together, I had to go to the hospital and I was
Wow.
sick. And I remember a friend of mine calling me and saying, the neighbor saying, "You need to get home now." And I said, "Why? The house is on fire." So I pull up, and guess who's coming out the house with two naked women?
Okay.
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 So that was what really ended that relationship. But then I
Wait, wait,
moved to
wait,
another house.
wait, wait, because we wait. Excuse me. So was the house really on fire, or was that a
Yes.
way for you to get? Okay, so the
No.
house. Okay, so I didn't know if that was code for
No.
you to
That
get
was the
home.
house. What happened was
Excuse me.
the neighbor upstairs had asked him to babysit or whatever. He didn't do it. Whatever happened. Anyway, whatever happened, they were in their house. We had a beautiful fireplace, and whatever happened, something spilled over while they were doing whatever they were doing. The house caught on fire. Thank God the babies upstairs got out. That was my only concern when I pulled up.
Wow.
Them babies
Yeah.
upstairs.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
care less
Right.
about him at that point. But the crazy part about it is, let me tell you how the
The crazy
system
part about
fails.
it. The crazy part about it.
Right,
Wow.
the crazier. Because mind you, that day I went to the hospital, he had just jumped on me before I went to the hospital. He had beat that
Wow.
man would beat me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When I say, and I had asked to go to the hospital and made a police report.
Okay.
I called the old prosecutor. The prosecutor said, "Okay, I'm not giving up on you because I want you to get away from this man."
Gotcha. Okay.
And this man, when I tell you, I can't remember this prosecutor's name for love nor money. I said I was gonna go to Detroit and find this. This man made sure I was completely okay. However, I made a police report. They arrested him right then. Went back to court. I stood my ground. But guess what? They didn't tell me he was out. So
Wow.
now a church family helped me. I got another place. Matter of fact, my current husband's grandmother gave me the money to her and a couple others helped me with my deposit. We moved to another house. Well, guess what homeboy did when he got out? He set the house on fire.
Oh. Wow.
He
Wow.
found out where we were.
I was just going to ask. That was my question. That
The
was my
grace of
question.
God, my children was with my mother at the time. No, I take that back. Sorry, wrong fire. My daughter was with me. My son was with my mother
Okay.
when the fire happened. We got the house. The house completely burnt down.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
me and my sister were living together at the time. Completely burned the house down. The way we found out he burnt the house down was a neighbor.
Wow.
Because we thought it was my sister's boyfriend. No, it was my ex-boyfriend. I went to a hotel. Do you know this man followed me to the hotel?
Whoa.
And the crazy part about it is, why are you even out?
Right. That
The
was that.
system
Yeah. Right.
never told me he even had a chance to get out. He got out before he was even sentenced.
Wow.
So I had no proof that he did it.
Right.
But I did have proof that he came to their house.
Okay.
He ended up back in jail. He spent 14 days in jail.
2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks.
It's a whole much to that particular story because he's a whole that's a whole nother conversation. He a whole nother ball game. But he was the worst abuser of all of them. He drugged me across the street, up 4 flights of stairs. Well, it's actually 8 because there's 4 floors, but it's 2 with still stairs.
Right. Right. Right.
Nobody helped me.
That
They
see
laughed,
that's whoa.
blowing the
So
horn. I heard people saying, I remember hearing a lady distinctly say, that bee must have been running her mouth.
now we're gonna stop right there because here's the thing. Why is that so common as far as or not well common
It
that
is.
to see a woman being abused, a woman seeing another woman being abused, or hearing of another woman being abused, and their first thought is she must have done something wrong, or on the other flip side, just pray about it, and let that man be a man.
And that's the mentality. And for years, I was so angry with people and church people because after him, later on down the line, I married another psycho who abused my children.
Oh, wow.
But in this case, the church defended him. The church set up an adoption agency to come to meet me in a meeting for me to give up my children because my husband apparently didn't like children. The church.
Wow.
The church went to court for him. He took my son and threw my son across the room. When I got upstairs to see my son, there was blood on the ceiling. My son ain't even 4 feet tall.
Wow.
You take my son, and all I see is blood come out of my son's mouth. And I see my daughter sitting in the corner with a pillow full of blood, screaming. He got 3 months.
Wow.
And why he got 3 months is because the church backed him and came as character witnesses.
Wow. Was he a leader in the church, or
No,
was
he
he
wasn't a leader in the church. He
just
was
was a
a
member?
lay member.
Wow.
A lazy lay member.
Wow. Well, why do you, because that's not my first time hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, and this, I know this is your perspective, and I know everybody's got their own
Right.
story, their own, but why do you think that was the case? Like, why was that okay?
When I asked the question why, their mentality is they felt they need to do what they need to do to neutralize situation, which I still don't understand that. But they couldn't take sides, but you took sides because you went to court for him.
Right.
When I tell you, not one church member that was outside of my family showed up on my side. No, I take that back. Keep saying, take that back. Deacon, yeah, the head deacon did. The head deacon did come and do it. He came later on, and matter of fact, when I was on the stand, I saw him coming in. He was the only one on my side from a church. The rest of the deacons and ministers were for him.
And he only got 3 months for such a heinous.
Yep. And the church pastor wrote a letter about how good standing he is, blah blah blah. But when
that's hurtful.
When they put my son on the stand, that's what messed it up. My son couldn't testify. My son was terrified.
Yeah.
You put a little kid on a stand.
Yeah.
So I was angry with the church for years. I was angry at everybody. I was bitter. I was tired. I was over it.
Right.
And the anger and hatred and hurt me.
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing that I hope that people please understand, that when we hold on to stuff, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. When we hold on to bitterness, hatred, unforgiveness, it affects us first. Yeah. It affects us physically, emotionally, mentally. Yes. It affects us. I say that with complete understanding of it. That was my situation. I sat in hatred. I hated the person. Hated. But because of the way we were raised, I wasn't allowed to say the word hate. So I suppressed it. Like, that's not what I'm feeling. But it was manifesting. I was going to the doctor, Harralyn. I was going to the doctor for symptoms, and they could never find anything. Well, because my body was telling me, you got to release this. You got to release.
Yes, this. Ma'am.
My body, they couldn't find, what was happening and what was going on and why I was having this symptom after that symptom. It wasn't, nothing was adding up. Blood tests was coming back. Ma'am, there's nothing. But there was something. And it was eating me from the inside out until I first recognized, I don't care what you say. Listen, you hate. You have hate in your heart.
Right.
You have unforgiveness in your heart.
Right. Right.
and you've got to do something about it. And it took me
You
a
have
minute,
to.
even, and if I'm being honest, even after I started painting glory, because I didn't start painting glory until years later, until after the situation was over. But I still had to realize, even after starting painting glory in 2005, there was still stuff in there.
Yep. Yep.
There was still stuff in there, and there were certain things that would trigger it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. And I still have, like, even now, and it's not as bad as it used to be. I still have PTSD moments, but I had to learn. Everybody that did this to you, most of them going on about their business. Whatever, God gonna handle them. You don't worry about
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
they not paying you no attention. They really not focusing on the fact that what they did messed you up. But
Right.
you hating them ain't helping you at all.
It's
So
giving
I
them more
had to
power.
ask God, huh?
It's giving them more power.
That's right. And I had to ask God to take it away from me because I was hurting myself.
Yes.
I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
depressed. I was suicidal. I was homicidal some days. I wanted to kill some folks if they got in my face. I was so bad that I would go in the store and somebody make me mad. I would knock over stuff. I'm the jumping over the counter because I'm bitter. I'm angry at the world
Right.
now
Right.
because now the
Right.
world turned their back on me.
Right.
I'm mad at everybody, so I'm the one in the store tearing stuff up because somebody done made me mad, or she put my change on the thing the wrong way, and it's not what she did. Is I
Mm-mm.
have suppressed so much hurt and anger for so long that
Mm-hmm.
one little small thing
It was a
flipped me
trigger.
off.
It was a trigger. I
And
and
so,
trust me, I
yeah,
totally get that. I totally get that.
yeah,
I to this day, and we my daughter and I kind of joke about it, but it's the truth, and that is, she's like, you don't trust nobody. No,
right,
like you got serious trust. No, I don't trust. No, I don't trust nobody.
right.
But you know what? The topic tonight is so perfect because I like something that you've said 3 times tonight, and that is my current husband.
Mm-hmm.
That we're talking about the light at the end of the tunnel.
There
Come
is
on
a light.
now,
Right,
come on now,
right,
come
right.
on now, because next month will be for me. I will be married to my husband 24 years.
Okay,
Never had any kind of glimmer, inclination, no kind of uh, inkling of any kind of domestic abuse at all.
right,
God definitely favored me and heard me, and definitely, it was a whole, not a 360, because I'd be right back in the same place. That was a whole 180.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for that. I thank God for
Yep,
that. And I know you haven't been 24 years in it, but y'all anniversary is next month as well,
yep.
right?
19 years next month. Yes.
So you're right behind me. You close
Yep,
behind me.
yep. Well, 5 years behind you. Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
indeed. And
We
that is a blessing.
the thing I tell people before you get into a relationship, you have to make sure you are healed from the
Come on
other
now.
relationship,
Come on.
because I brought in all that with I brought all that Esther in. I brought all that hurt, anger, bitterness, distrust, all that in. I didn't, I brought it all in with me. Thank God I finally started healing the process. I tell people there's a difference between being delivered and healed.
Come on now. Come
He
on.
delivered me out of the situation, but I was not healed yet. Everybody want to say, well, I'm delivered, healed, set free. Really, most of the people not. And I was not delivered, healed,
You
and set
better
free. I
tell
was
the truth.
delivered. I wasn't healed, and neither was I set free.
Set free. You better come on. You
So
better come
I
on.
had to go to God for myself. I couldn't put on mom and daddy, nobody else. And I had to ask him to show me what I need to do. Help
Right.
me through the situation, because right
Right.
now, Lord, this ain't working. What I got going on right now is not
It's not
working, not
working.
helping me out
Mm-mm.
any. I'm hurting myself. My doctors would say, what are you stressed about? I'm not stressed about nothing. Yes, you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are. Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
You
Yes,
stressed. I'm
you
like,
are.
why? And I was stepping people. Oh, I remember I was at my daughter, it's always your kids that get you. And I
Yeah.
said, it's always them kids.
Yeah.
But my daughter would not let me live it down. We were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And shopping, and I'm just at 10. Just I'm still healing. I'm still going through this. Matter of fact, I haven't even started healing yet. I'm just still agitated about so much stuff and so many triggers happening, smells.
Yeah.
And I remember we got in the car and the trunk was open. So a lady tapped on the hood. I jumped out and I cussed her out. I jumped out and I ate that lady for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I cussed her clean out. And it shocked everybody. She said, ma'am, I just want to tell you your trunk was open. Now, mind you, because I'm embarrassed.
Right.
And still pissed off.
Yeah.
And still triggered. I jumped back in the car and I told her, just don't touch my car no more. Never apologize.
Never apologize.
If anybody know who that lady is, dog, tell her I'm so sorry. I apologize. And my daughter always joked. She said, Mama, you went up on that lady for no reason. But that's what happened when you don't heal.
When you don't heal. And
Hurt
when you don't heal
people.
Yes. When you don't heal properly, it's just like when we have you and I both had the same surgery. I won't go into what it was, but we had the same surgery.
Right.
Now listen, if you don't do what they tell you to do, and you will not heal properly.
Right.
You will be in pain. Yep. You will be in discomfort. I don't care what kind of surgery it is.
Right.
If there is procedure done, if you don't follow the instructions that they give you, you have to rest, you have to do this, you have to do this in order to heal properly. You mess around and don't let something heal properly. You mess around and break a limb and don't let that thing set properly. You mess around and be wounded, excuse me, and don't heal properly. Nothing will function right.
And that's why I like
not function right.
Everything was going. My marriage was starting to have problems. Kids going crazy. Had problems at the job because I was holding so much in. And then I started doing stuff to mask the pain. Mm-hmm. I was already a smoker, so I was now smoking way more. I was going through a pack of 2 Black and Milds a day because I stopped smoking cigarettes thinking that was a better thing to do. Do Black and Milds was stupid. So I'm now smoking more.
Right.
Then I substituted the smoking, so now I'm smoking more. Now I'm stress eating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now just mentally damaging myself and my physical body because I refuse to forgive and move on.
Right. Because here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. You said something key, and I don't want to miss something you just said that was so key. You said you refuse to let go and move on. But truth be told, had anybody ever told you how to do that?
Right. That's it.
You know, we
don't talk about that.
It sounds good. It sounds great. You know, be strong, keep going, and you know, and move on and let it go and release it. But how?
It's almost like telling a victim of domestic violence to leave with nowhere to go.
With nowhere to go. No plan. Because you gotta have a plan.
Just leave them, girl. Just leave them. Where's she gonna go? Because you ain't gonna let her come in your house.
Where's she gonna get the money to move? Because even if you're in a stable household, it costs money to move.
And you know people act funny when you're there too long.
Yeah.
So I had something we're doing for Christmas this year. The lady looked at me like I was crazy. I said we're doing a panty drive, but we're not gonna call it panty drive because people ain't gonna help. We're gonna call it a hygiene drive because so many women go and they leave and they go back because they don't have a single pair of panties. The shelter's not giving them to them.
Think about that.
The police department not giving them to them. I've heard women say, I just went back to the house to get some underwear. Or I hear people say, she just went back to the house to get some underwear and he killed her. Mm-hmm. Or I went back and I just needed some panties. I mean, I didn't have no money to buy none, so why not go back to the house and get some?
Yep.
And they carry them right back. They right back in it.
Yep.
So my thing
something that we think is so simple is really huge. Something we think is no big deal is really the thing that is holding life and death in the balance.
I had some say, do you know that the shelter's not even giving us soap toothpaste. And then you have people who
What?
don't understand it say it's just $1. But if you ain't got $1, where you gonna get it from?
Where you gonna get it from?
So that's something that we're I tell people, I said, when I say healing, I had to heal. I had to work on healing because for me, that was my release. I had to heal, but I knew I could not heal by myself, so I had to help people.
Yeah.
And through
Yeah.
helping people,
Yep.
I healed.
Yeah.
And they might sound crazy. People like, how's that possible?
No, that no, I
No,
totally get that.
it helped me. And like I said earlier, before the broadcast, we talked about baking. Baking
Mhm.
is my release.
Mhm.
Baking is my calming, my me time that I like to do.
Yeah.
And so I tell everybody, in order to heal, first of all, you got to find out something you enjoy doing that gets you away from everything for the moment. I ain't talking about drinking or nothing like that.
Right.
If it's going
Yeah.
to the ocean, if you're by the ocean, if it's going sitting on the porch, if it's reading a book, if it's riding a bicycle, I had to find Harralyn because I lost Harralyn in the abuse.
In the process. Right.
I lost what I liked.
Right.
I lost everything.
Right.
So I had to get Harralyn back. And I learned a lesson that I never knew I would learn. I learned to trust everybody to do what they're going to do.
Wow.
I
Wow.
trust everybody to do what you're going to do because once you show me who you are,
Come on now.
I'm going to believe you. So now, because I used to say, I don't trust nobody. I trust you. I trust you to do exactly what you're going to do.
What you gonna do? Okay.
I'm
I
not
got
expecting
that.
you to do nothing
I
more.
got it. I got it. Yes.
I ain't going to expect you to do. And that's what we hurt ourselves because we want people to be so much that they're not. And I remember a lady telling me, you're hating these men for what they did to you, but you're not realizing they were very wrong. But they did exactly to you what they knew to do to a woman.
Right.
And I was like, what? What? They look at their examples, and all of them used to tell me about how abusive their fathers were.
Wow. Wow.
All of them. Or how abusive their mothers were. And I had to learn, love me enough to when I first see the signs, nip it in the
Hmm.
bud.
Nip it in the bud.
But I wanted
Nip
them
it
to
in the
be, I
bud.
saw the signs were there. They were all there with my ex-husband. All of them had signs. All of them had 50 million red flags. But I
Wow.
wanted them to be something they were not.
Wow.
And they took advantage of that. They took advantage of me being naive.
Yeah.
So now I just had 4 surgeries in 10 months. I ain't finna let nobody stress me out.
Come on now.
I'm gonna trust everybody to do what they gonna do. If you don't want to be my friend, you won't hurt my feelings. Because I had to heal enough for me to be okay with if everybody turned their back on me. As long as I got Jesus, I am going to be okay.
Going to
It may
be
hurt for
okay.
the moment, but I would never give anybody the satisfaction of having that kind of control of my life ever again.
Absolutely. And I love your story because the Harrelyn that you were then is not the Harrelyn you are now.
No.
You are God's warrior woman. You are a praying woman of faith. You are a woman who will go into the proverbial cave and bring someone from the cave into this light that we're talking about. You're now
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy, beautiful, loving marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You are a beautiful example of what it means to literally not look. I don't that expression that we hear. I don't look like what I've been through. When you Google that, your picture should come up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you became involved in a movement that is now a law, and I want you to talk a little bit about Marcy's Law. Um, and just really what that means and how it can help those who are listening to you right now.
So Marcy's Law was actually started long before I got involved in it. I came on to Marcy's Law as a volunteer in 2016. And it is what happened is Georgia did not have any constitutional rights for crime victims. The criminal federally has more rights than a victim of crime. So we fought and we got the bill passed. And the bill is to make sure that the victim is notified of all court proceedings, has the right to be heard, and is treated fairly throughout the process. So that is that's the gist of it. It's not the totality of it, it's the gist of it.
Okay.
The reality is the phase that we're in now, like I said, so now I sit on the advisory board. Now we're in a phase of making sure that the law is implemented properly.
Gotcha.
Make sure that the court officials and everybody know how to properly implement it, and make sure that the advocates who are working with them know how to help them as well. Everybody has a foot in the game, have a responsibility.
Gotcha.
And the reality is, the last thing you need when you have been a victim or your child has died or whatever is not to be notified. Now, the way this came about is Dr. Nicholas' sister's boyfriend threatened to kill himself. And she went over there to stop him. He killed her. Well, they never knew he was out of jail. He ended up showing up, I think, at a grocery store or something after the funeral, or at the graveyard. He ended up showing up the day of the funeral and taunting them. Now, mind you, why is he out of jail?
Why is he out of jail?
Just like the lady in Macon whose husband or boyfriend murdered her in front of her children, and this man had a rap sheet longer than MLK Boulevard, probably.
Wow.
But why was he even out?
Right.
But you didn't even notify her. So this man killed her in the Walmart parking lot in Macon, Georgia. And this little girl, I think she was 10 or 11 years old, had to drive to try to get some help for her mom. But why are they out? That's the question. Why are they out?
Why are they out?
Marcy's Law is to is now constitutional law. And you were instrumental in helping. So many advocates in Georgia were instrumental in helping get this law passed, and we are forever grateful. And it just means there's another level of protection for crime victims. Okay. But now the real work begins, making sure we're implementing it. And so my quest to people is, if there are have a court proceeding going on, if there are something that you have questions about, ask us. Let us know so that we can properly answer the question. If you feel like your rights are not being fulfilled, ask us. You can inbox me, send me an email. I will take it before the advisory board and talk about it. Knowing your rights. The prosecutor's attorney counsel, Pat, has been instrumental in getting this done and helping us. CVAC, all of them has been so instrumental in this process. Candace Sims has been so instrumental through CVAC, and so many other people, and they're still on the board currently.
And Marcy's Law is not just for residents of Georgia, right?
Well, okay, so Marcy's Law is not a federal bill yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Each state has to have their own law, and each state has their own way of notifying. Some states we're in had some protection, but not enough.
Gotcha.
Georgia had none.
Gotcha.
Ronald Reagan was the first president to push crime victims bill.
Right.
He was the first president to push crime victims bill, and I am forever grateful to that man for that. But it was not a constitutional law federally. Gotcha. So each state has to adopt it. Now, the reality is each state has not adopted it. So there's still more work to do. I live in Georgia, so this is my state. and they find advocates in each state to work in. But
Gotcha.
yeah, Marshall's Law is all over the country, and we tell people if it's in your state, find out. And because I'm a national advocate,
Right.
I work with other states.
Right. That's what. Yes.
So if they call, I get calls from Philly, from Philadelphia, Michigan. I done got calls from Hawaii, everywhere, asking about crime victims bill. And what I would do is I would look and see what their laws are, so I
Right.
can better help
Got
them.
it.
So to the advocate, know the laws in your state to help these people. There's nothing worse than having a broken person, a messed up person, they already going through turmoil, and you give them bad information. You're going, I can't, you're chopping up. I can't really understand what you're saying.
Oh no.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm trying to see.
It's on my end.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Okay. I can see it up on it's on my end, but I'm so grateful because I want people to know that there is hope
Oh yeah.
and there is help. And much like what you were saying earlier, what we were saying is, you know, had we known, kind of like if I knew then what I know now, I just didn't know. I didn't know. Number one, I didn't know I was a victim. I
Right.
didn't accept it.
Right.
Although I had all the practice that comes in, I didn't I didn't go around that. I didn't see this was
You're breaking up again.
oh, I did this like I don't know why. But
Wait a minute. It's still chopping up. I can't.
okay, let me go and try something here and let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you a little bit better now.
Okay, because for some reason I haven't moved.
There
Obviously, I
you
haven't
go.
moved.
Yep.
But,
You
but
know
as
how
we're
this
wrapping,
technology, technology is crazy.
gotta love technology. Well, what I want you to do as we're wrapping up, I want you to share with people how they can stay connected to you. Because what we were saying was, you know, if we had known some of the things that we know then that we know now, the things that we have access to now,
Right.
that maybe, you know, for me, maybe there wasn't available then. I know, you know, there are some things that you know, I just didn't know. But I want to encourage those who are listening live or whether you're watching a replay, if you or someone that you know are in a domestic violence relationship situation, whatever you want to call it, there's help and there's hope. And listen, Harralyn said it earlier. It doesn't always look the same. It can be physical, emotional, it can be sexual, it can be financial. I mean, there's more than one type of abuse.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If you think that there's something going on, you're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right. And
Your
so
intuition.
yes, yes. So if you think this, you know, if you think your friend is in a domestic violence relationship and you're scared to say something because you don't want to lose your friend or you don't want to upset your friend, I'd rather be wrong and have her mad at me than right and lose her.
Right.
Just saying. So, Harrelyn, I have up on the screen for those who want a screenshot. If you want to, you know, take this information. But Harrelyn, I want you to share with us as we're getting ready to wrap up. I want you to share some thoughts with the people. You know, however you want to share some words of encouragement, where they can go. I definitely want, excuse me, want you to share with us how we can stay connected to you. If there are any advocacy things that are coming up, I know this is the month of domestic violence awareness. I know there's been a lot of candlelight vigils that have taken
Mm-hmm.
place. But I want you to share with people the help and hope that is available and also share how people can connect to you.
First, I want to say, if you're in a situation, number one, you're not alone.
You're not
And
alone.
to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and to please seek help. Please say something. And if you see something, say something. It
Mhm.
is your business.
Yeah, yeah,
It is your business. And a simple dial of 911 can save a life. That's simple.
yeah,
Um, I'm on Facebook. I am not very well versed on Instagram, so I don't listen. I don't ask me how to do it because I don't. I am on there, but I don't know how to work it. So, but on
No
Facebook,
problem.
our ministry page is Fellowship Community Outreach, and it says Fellowship Community Outreach Surviving the Storm. Um, you can reach me on my page, my personal page, Harralyn Rawls, and my email is saved SAV is in Victor, E is in Ed, D is in dog, .fco@gmail.com. My website is HarralynSwingerRalls.com. Please, please, if you need to talk, reach out to us. Reach out and let us help you. If you're not for sure how to help a loved one, call. We can give them a safety plan. And if you have a burner phone that you're not using, don't throw it away. Because that one phone can help somebody, a victim, get to safety. Because they may need a phone. They're going to need a phone to get away from them. But they probably can't use their regular phone. So if you have a burner phone, don't throw them away because they can actually be helped to help somebody else.
And what can they do with those phones?
They can get, like, I have some people who would come up, they're trying to get away from them, and we give them burner phones to be able to communicate with us. So they can't do it on their regular phone. Or if the person takes their main phone, they still have a form of communication.
No, I
Just
mean,
like
where
saying,
can they donate? That's what I'm asking. Where can they take if they
well,
have a
no, don't
burner phone?
donate it. Keep it for your friends. If you have a
Understood.
friend in need.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, keep it for
Yes.
your friend in need. And however, also, I tell people, and I put it on my page, but this is not just for if you're stranded. If you're in a situation and you can have a some kind of way of making a text message to people, send a text message that you need some type of help and erase it. So the person if the abuser grabbed the phone, he or she cannot look and see you text people. Get a text message and say, this is what I'm going through, this is where I am, blah, blah, so people can know how to come and help you. And that's just leave it like that. Tell them do not respond via text. Do not respond and delete the text message. Please delete it. So, but again, please call me if you
That's
need
good.
me.
That's good.
770-421-5044.
One more time.
770
Uh-huh.
421-5044.
I'm You know what? My fingers are doing something. So one more time. 770-421. Uh-huh.
421-5044. And I
I don't
can't
know
receive,
why that didn't
yeah,
my
and I
brain
can't
was
receive
not.
text messages on that. So you just want to text me and can't talk, text and say, I need to order a pizza. Just text me and
Wow.
say, I need to order a pizza. I know what to do from there.
Wow. Wow.
Just say, I need to order a pizza. And I know what to do from there.
I love it. I love it. I'm putting it up here right now. I need to order pizza. And if for some of us who have seen it, maybe you haven't seen. There is a safety guide that's out that talks about how to order a pizza when you're calling for
Right,
assistance.
911.
When you're
Right,
calling 911 and you're ordering, and they're asking the questions to you. How many people are there? Just one. You're
right.
actually ordering a pizza, but you're asking for help, and so
And
I,
you
I
can do
love it.
that too, even if you're not the victim and
Hmm.
you're in the room with someone who's being abused. You can still call 911 and say, hey, I would order a pizza for my sister, or I want to order a pizza for my niece, or whatever.
Right,
Give them enough clue words as possible.
right.
And if you're ever in a trunk, and I tell people, if you're ever in a trunk and there is a way, and I don't know how this works, but if you can find, there's a lever now that you can get. If you are ever in a trunk and they put you in a trunk, there's a lever. Make sure you open that lever, but hold it only where they can only see you. They can't see the trunk raised. And if there's anything inside of the trunk, hang it out the trunk. Only. But you have to hold on to that lever. It's a certain way. It's a video. I said I'm gonna find it and pull it up and post it. But if you're ever in a trunk and they got you held hostage in a trunk, there's a way to release that lever where it don't pull all the way up.
Right.
and it will not signal them in the car.
I am gonna help you look for that video so
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna
we can
find
we
it.
can
And
post
when
it.
I saw it like last week. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. And however it is, if you put your finger, it's not going to censor. It won't alert them in the car that the love trunk is open.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I
Because
have to find a
the
video. Yeah,
cars have the sensors on it to,
right, right.
yeah.
So I have to try to find a video, and I'll tag you into it. Yeah.
Please do. Please do. I tell you what, Harrelyn, you are a jewel. I told you
Oh,
that. I've told you
thank
that
you.
many times, and I mean it. You share so much good wisdom and information, and you come from a place not only of experience, but you come from a place of love. And I love that you're very transparent. That you when you're telling your story, you're actually really painting a picture, because I felt like I was there in the courtroom when you were
Oh
expressing
wow.
how it was. And then the disgust of you're gonna set my house on fire, and you know but to see you now, to see you now.
But
Oh my
God,
God. But God.
but God.
But God. But God. So I don't want you to go anywhere. Stay right there. So listen, guys, I thank you all for joining with us yet again for another Pain and Abuse Mental Health and Ministry broadcast. Again, this entire month is dedicated to domestic violence awareness and prevention. Listen, there is hope. There is help. We
Yes,
are not in this alone. You are looking at evidence of that. Listen,
yes,
there is hope and there is help. We'll be right back here on next Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. with yet another guest, as we close out the month of October, sharing and giving you information and resources. We do have, if you're watching a replay or if you're watching live, you saw that we put up the information for Marcy's Law. We shared with you Harrelyn's website. We also shared with you the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Listen, there is help and hope for you. I want to encourage you, definitely, if you want to be a blessing to us here at Pain and Glory, we would more than welcome your donations, no matter the size, because there's so much that we want to do, so
hmm
much that we are doing, and to further not just Pain and Abuse Mental Health and Ministry, not just domestic violence, but we also have a caregivers philanthropic fund. The number we started in 2019, but since 2020 and 2021 has come along, you already know that the number and need for caregivers has increased exponentially because of COVID.
hmm
And so, we want to be a blessing to caregivers. We have in the past been able to be a blessing, and we want to continue to do that. Coming up before the end of the year, I'm super excited to announce that we're going to be hosting again our mental health first aid. We weren't able to do it. Actually, we were. The last one we had was the beginning of 2020.
Awesome.
The last one we had was the beginning of 2020. So now here we are, the end of 2021, but we are not going out of 2021 without having
Ooh,
mental health first aid. Yes,
yes.
indeed. So the date of that is coming. All of that is coming. We secured our trainer. I'm super excited, because we want to be cognizant of the fact that it is we are still yet in a pandemic, so it won't be open for a lot of people. So we're not going to have a huge facility. However, once it opens up, get in there and get registered. This is definitely, we want our pastors, leaders, elders, and ministers to be first partakers of this training. Absolutely. And so, in doing that, your donations help us to have that.
hmm
Your donations help us to have that. So we invite you definitely to donate to us, as we are a 501c3 corporation. So please feel free to write off any donation, and we definitely, you will see the actual fruit of what you plant. You'll see it come back. You will definitely see the work that we do. So again, Harrelyn, thank you so much. You're such a blessing. Don't go anywhere. You're such a blessing. And I just continue to pray God's blessings on you and everything that you touch. Listen, guys, we will see you all on next Monday. Same place, same time. See you then.